Sherry?
Thanks very much, Kerry. That the city has got to step up and take a role in dealing with the housing crisis in the city. What has been working very well have been partnerships with groups like NRC and Manitoba Housing, etc., the Brandon Friendship Center. That one of the big issues, though, I think that we need as we're beginning to develop this housing strategy is information. We've got 3 to 5 year wait lists for seniors to get into the existing housing stock that we've got. How many more seniors are we going to have in 5 years? What kind of wait lists are we going to have? How urgent is that? Cities, this is not a unique issue for Brandon. Cities have dealt with this issue. We can learn from the best and bring that expertise into our community with how we're going to deal with it, but we do have to deal with it.
Sherry, how would you deal with it? You haven't answered that. You said we've got large waiting lists for seniors, we need affordable housing. So what would you as mayor want to see the city do?
And I apologize, I'm keeping an eye on this fellow down here with his colored cards, and it's such a complicated issue to fit into our time limit. That, again, somewhat what Henry was referring to, inclusionary zoning, which is a bit of a stick with developers, absolutely. We got to make sure that that's compensated with carrots, that this is not something that we can put on the backs of private developers, absolutely, I agree. But again, trying to figure out ways to make it affordable. Again, looking at things like working with the province on new tax levels for rental properties, looking at waiving fees and permit fees so that, again, that reduces some of the cost, looking at ways.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Sherry. Mayor Dix.
Thanks very much. I know we've done an awful lot more over the past 10 years or 8 years. It's been downloaded somewhat from the federal government and provincial government. We had to just swallow that up and say we have to be involved. We've done a lot, but there's more we need to do, of course, with our growing need. What I am proposing is to keep it simple. For example, First and Veterans Way, I've already committed that I want to see at least 10% of that land go towards donation to a proposal call, and that is the same with another parcel of land that we all know about at Fleming, also another large one that we will have right away, I believe, in the downtown area. To put out a proposal call, we can actually have that donated, find out what developers can possibly give it to us as an outcome, and measure the value of that for our community.
Mr. Avlanides.
It's an interesting issue. We have gone a long way and done a lot in the name of affordable housing in Brandon. Everywhere you look now, you can see the implementation of the fourplex. You see the fourplex everywhere. I mean, you have to realize too, as people, that there's only so affordable that we can go. I mean, a $300 a month rent for 2 people in an apartment is never going to happen unless you're on social assistance. So there's only so affordable we can go. And the way I think that we could get around it, or the one thing I think we could do in the name of it, is to provide the 25-foot lot once again, which is basically a smaller lot size and shrinking the land available to the house. However, the 25-foot lot can be a lovely lot.
Thank you. Next up, Alison Dowd.
All right. This question is directed to Mayor Dave Burgess. You've referenced in your comments about affordable housing a property downtown, and I'm just wondering, do you not feel you're putting your challengers at an unfair advantage? You seem to know a lot about land deals that are coming with the city. You also referenced in comments in the Brandon Sun several days ago that you are working behind the scenes to do whatever you can to make sure the Brown block, the 100 block on 10th Street is demolished and made way for new developments. And I'm just wondering, I know as an incumbent you have access to information, but I'm just wondering if you're not dangling land deals that have yet to be made. Land deals aren't made until they come to City Council. Why are you making potential land deals part of your re-election campaign?
Definitely, I shared actually with Renaissance Brandon, so that is public as far as what we're striving to do. You have to make sure that you've got support to be able to work with the developers.
Then tell us which downtown property you're speaking of for affordable housing, Dave.
Well, actually, there'll be more than one that can be put towards that. You have to try and come forward with the options, and when you're dealing with different developers,
tell me the one you were referring of in your comments. If it's public, if it was spoken of at a Renaissance Brandon meeting, which is open to the general public, then tell me.
definitely where the brown block is, that is something that is very possible to have an affordable housing initiative go in that location. It has, of course, be agreeable with the developer that you're trying to attract, and if we cannot, actually we were wanting to try and purchase that land if that was what was needed to demolish and get rid of that building. So that's all been talked about at Renaissance Brandon as a possibility moving forward. Definitely we want to get rid of that building. It's of no use, and it's actually a detriment to the downtown as it is.
I see Nicholas wants to respond to that.
You know, I gotta say it, these words that come out of the City Council of Renaissance Brandon, this is an abuse of imagery. The word Renaissance to me makes reference to Michelangelo from the Renaissance times of Rome, or Leonardo. And I am just certain that no constructional effort on behalf of the Renaissance, Renaissance anything in Brandon has made any progression towards the hard-earned image that goes along with the word Renaissance. So I find that if I was, as I am a citizen, I find that to be an abuse. I find that to be rude, to falsely get me excited about Renaissance.
If I can,
Not sure you haven't really kept in the spirit of my question to Mr. Burgess. My question to Mr.
And I agree.
Burgess.
You have the downtown building, the brown block, directly across the street from the 10th Street Emporium. The former home to the Timothy Bean. Wasn't he a lovely man? He was a great place, and I loved his store. It was fun. That building, that building has definitely seen better days.
I guess I would redirect the question. What vision do you have for that block that you said was once so majestic?
I just did a renovation myself downtown. I worked my tail off on a building directly across the corner from the Brandon Chamber of Commerce, and I think I did a great job for one guy. I looked at the brown block. It's a nice old building, nice old set of bricks, but it needs a lot of love if you want to make it into something again. It's very possible, and it's a very good idea to do it again, because you would still have a classic, traditional Renaissance type building. Now, if you want to rip it down and build another building there, that's fine too, but you have to ask yourself, what are you going to build there? If you're going to use the word Renaissance, to me that sounds like a characteristical building, a nice building, a classic building, something that we can all be proud of. I don't know if that's what's in Mr. Burgess's mindset, or if that's what's in the council's mindset.
thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Arlenius. If I could advise our panelists, in my ear they're telling me that we've got approximately 15 minutes. We're going to take approximately 1 minute for each of these folks to do their wrap-up. I'm going to say my stuff for about a minute, hopefully shorter for both of us. So we can maybe get into questions. So I'm going to tell you now, make them good, make these people work.
Okay. Voters generally want to know what experience and education a candidate brings to the table when they're running. So I would start this question with Mayor Burgess. What is your educational background, and how does it assist you in being the mayor of our city?
Well, as far as education, of course, I was educated in Brandon. I attended University of Manitoba for a commerce degree, actually only 2 years, because my father was in business, became mayor. I came back to Brandon. Actually was doing both at the same time for finishing off the year. Of course, business for 23 years is an education by itself, and then of course what I've had experience as 4 years councillor and 8 years as mayor.
Okay, Mrs. Decter-Hurst, your campaign pamphlet indicates that you're a graduate of the University of Toronto's Rotman School of Business, which is a very prestigious business school. What did you learn there that you believe will help you as mayor of Brandon?
Well, formal education always complements experience, and it comes with 30 years of sitting around a variety of board tables as well. And because of that experience, I bring a very different kind of leadership style to City Council and the mayor's chair, one that believes in two-way communication, consultation, not playing favorites, benchmarking against progress. In fact, it is a very dramatically different set of experiences and skills that I would bring.
You know what we should do? Just hold on. You know what? Let's let's go through the education, because that was the original intent of the question. Can we just do
Sure.
that? Is that fair?
Absolutely. The Rotman School of Business offers an executive program for board governance that some of the great leaders like Frank McKinnon and Purdy Crawford, et cetera, have gone through. And I was privileged enough to be part of that program as well. In fact, Ken Irving was my study buddy. Which again was a unique experience to be able to get a mindset of what corporate and nonprofit boards are dealing with, because again, at the end of the day, it comes back to communication and consultation and getting the job done.
So is that a degree from Rotman School of Business, or is it a...
No, it's an executive program.
And what period of time is involved in that?
Well, it's offered over a 2-year program because, again, these are dealing with folks who don't come and study full-time. There's a residence requirement every few months, and everything else is done online, which is a marvelous way to learn.
Absolutely. Next up, Henry Hansen.
I'm a graduate of Assiniboine Community College, adult collegiate. I was valedictorian as well as student body president and head of the grad committee. I also attended Assiniboine Community College, where I took a construction electrician course, and I'm currently studying at the School of Hard Knocks.
And that's got a huge enrollment in this community. And finally, Nicholas Avlanides.
That was a great answer. That was a great answer.
My education more or less stems from Brandon here. I was brought up in Brandon. I went to high school in Brandon. I attended all 3 of the high schools, so Vincent Massey, Nealon, and Crocus Plains. I enjoyed my experience at all of them. I finished my high school education in Gretna, Manitoba, actually. I went to a private Mennonite school, and that was very enlightening. I very much enjoyed that. That was a great year. And then I took 2 years of university in Brandon here as well, and I felt a little uninterested in the business course that I had set out for myself. I was a little more interested in the religion and the philosophy. And other than that, I speak 2 languages, and I'm well traveled. I've been through in and out Europe and all over North America. I drove from one end of Canada to the other.
Thank you very much.
Yep.